Hello, Vinyl community. This is DJ Vinyl Vertigo, and it is Tuesday night. Um, I decided I wanted to do a little um, showing of records of a particular group that I really loved and that got castigated by a VC community member, a VC member, and I'm not going to name names because he know not what he speaks of. That's all I'm going to say. Um, I'm talking about Rufus featuring Chaka Khan. Don't mess with Rufus. One of my favorite bands from my youth, and they are not some throwaway band. They were a really good American funk band that was led by Shaka. That was featuring Chaka Khan for most of their career. But anyway, today's been an interesting day because I had to get up early this morning, see my surgeon for my knee, and get the update. Like a follow up on my knee surgery, and the swelling wasn't going down, and he was touching my knee, and he says there's a lot of fluid in there. I need to express it, so I had to go through a synovial fluid expression, and it was like it wasn't that bad, but it was the idea of it was really freaking me out. But I got through it, and then I had a client, and then after that, in the afternoon, I had physical therapy, and it kind of hurt because I had that procedure done in the morning. So, but I'm feeling kind of good right now. I'm going to ice it before I go to bed. Anyway, that's my update on my knee. Um, just want to say that Rufus featuring Chaka Khan wasn't always called Rufus featuring Chaka Khan. Back in the 60s, around, I'd say about 69, it was another band. I forgot what some members of this other band, this American something band, I forget the name, but they formed a group called Smoke. And the female vocalist that they had was Paulette McWilliams, and she was friends with Chaka Khan. Um, Yvette Stevens, she was known as at the time, from Chicago. This was Chaka Khan's real name, her American name, or her birth name, I should say. And then they changed their name to Ask Rufus, and they would ask Rufus for a while, and Chaka actually sang with them with Paulette McWilliams as well. So I think she did some co-leads and some backups and things like that. Um, Ike Turner actually went to see them at a gig and brought them back to LA and got them really pushed. And really, he actually wanted Chaka Khan to be an Ikette. She almost was an Ikette, but Chaka, I think, is a little too independent for that kind of stuff. I think she probably just knew that Ike was how Ike was, and she was not interested in that. So she stuck with Ask Rufus. Paulette Williams left the band, I think, to go solo and also to raise a family, I believe. I'm not really clear on the story on that. But Chaka Khan became the main vocalist for that group, and they became Rufus by the time they put out their first record. And I have that record right here. Um, it's simply called Rufus, and there's Chaka Khan right there in the middle. You see her looking just as innocent as ever. There's the back cover, gatefold. I have all my original Rufus records. I brought those with me from New York to Florida. I left a lot of my records behind, and I had to rebuild my record collection. But my Rufus records, they stayed with me. They traveled with me to the South. This record has songs like "Keep It Coming," "There's No Telling," "Maybe Your Baby," which is a Stevie Wonder song. "I Finally Found You," "Feel Good" is a really good song. This was a very kind of country rock record, or kind of like almost like a southern rock kind of record, not really funky. They did a little bit of funky stuff. They did like "Whoever's Thrilling You Is Killing Me," which is kind of like a funk ballad, and then they did "Love the One You're With" slash "Sit Yourself Down," and it's kind of like a up tempo kind of pop rock type thing. So this is very much like a rock album. It's more like like almost like Chicago or something like that. It's that kind of feel. So they really hadn't found themselves yet. This is probably not a favorite of a lot of people. I still like it because it's got that innocent quality. It's got that earlier rock, 70s rock sound. And it's got this really soulful woman singing the leads. And it's really cool to have this soulful woman singing these rock-based type songs, you know. Okay, and in this group at that time, let me just say who was in this band at the time. Chaka Khan, Ron Stocker on lead vocals as well, Kevin Murphy on organ and clarinet, Al Sinner on background vocals and acoustic guitar, Dennis Belfield on bass, Andre Fisher, who I believe ended up marrying Natalie Cole later on. He's the drummer. And yeah, really good stuff on here. And the photography was by Mark Hauser, just in case Mazzy's wondering. I don't know if you know who that is, but anyway, I don't. So that's their first album. I did not know them when this first album came out because in 1973 I was about 11 or 12, and I really didn't have much of a collection then, and I wasn't really buying records yet. The only record I had was like The Name Game on a 45, My Girl by The Temptations on a 45, and maybe What's Going On that I was given because I loved that record. I just loved everything about it. That's all I owned at that time. So I didn't really have a lot of records. I listened to my brother's records and my sister's records, so, and my dad's. The next album, which is the one that really put them on the map when they became Rufus, featuring Chaka Khan, is Rags to Rufus. Kind of a strange cover, very hippie, you know. Again, pushing this kind of rock kind of sound. But this one definitely was a funkier album. This Rufus featuring Chaka Khan had the songs that most people know, like You Got the Love. Actually, what's the other one that Tell Me Something Good? Everybody knows that song. But there's other songs on here like Ain't Nothing But a Maybe, which is a great cover. Walking in the Sun is a great one. Swing Down Chariot's a great song. In Love We Grow is amazing. I think that's a Stevie Wonder composition, if I'm not mistaken. Several Stevie Wonder compositions on this album. Yeah, I think that's a Stevie Wonder composition. This one's a beat-up cover. Look Through My Eyes is another one. Tell Me Something Good is Stevie Wonder. Ashford and Simpson wrote Ain't Nothing But a Maybe. And let's see. I don't know. You Got the Love is written by Chaka Khan. And I think Ray Parker. Yeah. So, yeah. A young Ray Parker, way before Ghostbusters and all that. So, here we go. So this is the album that everybody was picking up. And it just, everybody knew, at least, Tell Me Something Good. That was big on the radio. And also You Got the Love. Yeah, Tell Me Something Good. You Got the Love. Yeah, You Got the Love. Yeah, You Got the Love. Give me a chance to keep on living. Yeah. So that definitely, my ears perked up on that when I was a little kid. And everybody used to sing, Tell Me Something Good. Then they came out with another record that I really like. And I think I bought this one. I bought this myself because I started to fall in love with Chaka Khan. I started to really go, if only I was a little bit older, she'd marry me. I fell in love with her. I mean, how can you not fall in with this woman? She's gorgeous. Chaka Khan with all that hair and that beautiful body and that beautiful face and that voice. Yeah, and this is a great photograph of all of them. It kind of reminds me later on that, like, Fleetwood Mac's Rumors album. The photographs. Chaka Khan in a compromising position there. And the photographs are by Norman Seeff. Seeff, yeah. But this, to me, shows you the type of singer that Chaka Khan is to become. She's really developing as a vocalist on this. And she's finding herself. She's finding what she wants to do. She wants to be more. She loves her rock and roll, because you can tell Chaka always loves it. If you ever see Chaka perform live, you know she loves rock and roll. She wanted to be a rocker. But she can't help herself. She's finding herself doing more bluesy kind of stuff, more funky singing, more on the, almost on the Aretha side of soul music. She started to really, she started doing more shouting and a lot more like wailing type of stuff. And this has a great first single, I believe, was "Once You Get Started," which was written by Gavin Christopher, who also had it. He didn't have a hit with it, but he had it on his first album, I believe. "Once You Get Started," he has a nice version. He was a great vocalist. He's not with us anymore, but he wrote that song. "Stop On By" is an amazing song. I believe "Stop On By" is "Stop On By." Stop On By. Somebody's watching you. Stop On By. I can't find it right now. Stop On By. Bobby Womack. It's a Bobby Womack tune. Yeah. And Bobby Womack. The Bobby Womack original is amazing, but they do a really good job. Chaka does an amazing job on that. Just beautiful stuff on there. Let's see. "Pack My Bags" is a great song. "Your Smile." "I'm a Woman, Everybody Needs One." It's before she says "I'm every woman." That's not the same. This is a different type of song, but that's a song that's definitely something that women would should really like check out, or should have checked out at the time for women's empowerment, that kind of stuff. Talking about, "I'm the backbone of this family. I'm the backbone of the world," that kind of thing. And just a lot less corny than "I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar," in my opinion. Although I do like Helen Reddy's song too. But anyway, "Somebody's Watching" is a great song. "Please Pardon Me, You Remind Me of a Friend." She sings her butt off on that. And "Half Moon," that's an old tune, an old rock tune. "Half Moon," great song. Who's that written by? "Half Moon." "Half Moon." I can't see. God, these labels. Jay Hall wrote that. "Half Moon" is a great, kind of like a bluesy rock song, but they do it almost jazzy. It's got this driving jazzy beat to it, so it's really good. But this album is definitely, if you want to hear some great singing and some great playing, this band could play. And the person that said that they were not that great of a band is absolutely wrong. He's never heard Rufus Size, and if he has, he only listened to the one song, "Once You Get Started," which was the hit. And you need to listen to the whole album and check it out. This album is phenomenal. It's really good. Just down-home funk, down-home jazzy soul, and with a little rock edge in there too. And it's kind of dancey at some points. It has some really good instrumental dancey stuff in there too. So it's not all just Chaka Khan singing. There's some instrumentals in there. This is the album that put me over the top with Chaka Khan. I got this for Christmas from my brothers. They chipped in. They knew I loved Chaka Khan. That was the poster. I think there is a poster in here. Yes, there is. There is a poster. I used to have this on my wall. I taped it to my wall. Let's see if I can open it. Oh, the poster's different. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I think I had the poster of her with the Lips. This is actually called the Lips record. And it's her sitting on a Lips chair. There is a poster like this too. I think I used to have that poster as well. But I had Chaka Khan posters all over my room because I was in love with Chaka Khan. That's in her Native American garb, which she used to wear a lot. This album had the big hit that was later done again by Mary J. Blige called "Sweet Thing." This showed her high-pitched wailing in all of its greatness. But this has "Fool's Paradise," "Have a Good Time," "Ooh, I Like Your Lovin'," and it shows her rhythmic timing in terms of her singing. She would start a song a certain way, and then towards the end of the song, she would have this rhythm outro that she would do. "Ooh, it's fire early in the morning. Ooh, this fire early in the morning." She would do this. "Oh, this fire, the strange is that." She would end her songs with these kind of phrases that she would do that were very rhythmic and stuff. She would actually become like one of the instruments in the rhythm section. So the way she would sing. Another song that everybody really dug on this record is called Circle. And at first I wasn't really into that song, but everybody used to go, I love that song, Circle. It's a great song. Dance With Me was like their idea of, it was kind of pre-disco, and you know, it was kind of fun, it was more funk than anything. And this is when disco started to really happen, but they weren't going the disco route. Although, and Little Boy Blue is really nice. It's a really nice jazzy type tune. But they had a song called, they did Bee Gees Jive Talkin', so that was their kind of tribute to disco. And they did a funky version of Jive Talkin'. Not my favorite. I never really liked that song anyway, even the Bee Gees version. You know, it's okay, you know. But they had the guts to do it, and they did it okay, you know. But that record stayed with me for so long, and I just love that. I used to play that so much, and my father goes, "You need to find another record to play, because I'm sick of hearing that." But I mean, when I was young, and I'm sure you can identify this, if you were obsessed with a certain record, you just played it over and over and over again. Especially when you're young and you don't have that many records, you're gonna play your record. This is my record. I'm gonna play it. You know, that kind of thing. So. And as I got older, that happened less and less because I had more stuff to do. So this record, I'm just going to tell you, the next record that came out after Lips, I heard about it coming out, and I was real excited. And my local record store said they were going to have it on a certain day, so I got up early, before they even opened, and the delivery truck came, and it dropped off the boxes, and they opened up the store. They brought the boxes in, and I stood there as they cut the boxes open. And I didn't even want them to put a price tag on it. I just said, "Here's my money. Give me my record." And it was this record. I stalked them for this. This is Ask Rufus, which was the original name, one of the original names of the band. So at that time, I did not know that. There's the, yeah, and this is her profile. Look at all that hair. And, you know, this was very indicative of what was happening. Chaka was starting to really feel herself as an individual and probably soon to be a solo artist. So her photograph is large, and they superimpose the rest of the band, and they're kind of like behind her. And I think there was kind of a weird dynamic starting to happen too, because she was kind of more pushing the stuff that she wanted to do, and they wanted to do other kinds of things. And in my opinion, they were best with Chaka, and I can agree with that other person on that level. With Chaka, they were great. Without Chaka, they weren't so good. They just didn't have I don't think they had the right direction for themselves. And so without Chaka's input, I don't think that they would have gone too far. I realize now that Chaka Khan had a lot of influence on where this band was going at that time. But they didn't want to go all the way where she was going, so she ended up doing her own thing and became a solo artist. But before she became a solo artist, she still did some great work with these guys. At midnight, my sister-in-law and I used to dance with each other constantly. She wasn't my sister-in-law left yet. She was my brother's girlfriend. And she would light up a cigarette. I would put this record on, and we would just dance around the living room with it blasting. At midnight, My Love Will Lift You Up. We would be jumping all over the place. Love it. Close the Door is a nice ballad. Then there's a medley, Slow Screw Against the Wall, which is an instrumental, and A Flat Fry is also part of that. That's also an instrumental, really cool jazzy thing. This is a very jazzy record, very experimental record. Earth Song is a beautiful tune, and then it finishes up with Everlasting Love, which is a great mid-tempo ballad, which has been covered by quite a few people. The next side, this person who I will not name really put down this song called Hollywood. It's not Madonna's Hollywood. This is a different Hollywood. This is just talking about somebody who's living in Hollywood and getting messed up in Hollywood. Magic in Your Eyes, Better Days is funky as you ever want to hear a song. It is the funkiest. You want to hear funk, slow funk, dirty funk, Better Days, and she sings her behind off in it. And she finishes up with this very experimental sounding Egyptian song. It sounds very, I don't know if it sounds African. It just sounds very North African, or it sounds something. It sounds Asian to me. You know, they call it Egyptian song. It sounds more Asian as far as I'm concerned. But This was produced by the whole band. The band produced it themselves in Burbank, California. And Kevin Murphy always had a lot to do with these records. And David Walensky from Chicago, from the band Chicago, had a lot to do with a lot of this stuff because he was on a lot of these albums. Okay. So, yeah, and now we're not going to go into the Chaka Khan solo stuff. This is when Chaka Khan started doing solo stuff around that time. It was a very exciting time for her and for, I guess, for Rufus because it was bringing more attention to them as well because she was having hits as a solo artist. This album, when this came out in 1978, I didn't like the cover. I actually also, when I first heard it, I didn't like the album. I was just not into it at all. But then I gave it a couple of other listens, and I figured this was their more pop album. It's called Street Player. I didn't like the title either. I just didn't like the basketball. There was something about it was cheesy to me. But this actually had a lot of jazzy stuff on it as well. They were trying to do some jazzy stuff on this. And I learned to appreciate it, and now it has definitely become one of my favorite records because it has such beautiful songs on here. Destiny is a great song. Stranger to Love. Street Player I'm not really crazy about, the title track. Stay is wonderful. And Erykah Badu does a great version of Stay. It's a really beautiful song, ballad. Best of Your Heart is very, very jazzy. It's just got this real jazz piano and bass line that's really, it's like, I think it's a stand-up bass on it. It's good stuff on there. There's another song called Turn, which is great. Change Your Ways is a nice one, but she does not sing that one. I think that's sung by Bobby Watson, if I'm not mistaken. And Blue Love. Blue Love is a great ballad. So this one, it's a grower. I think that's Walensky right there. That's Bobby Watson right there. And look how skinny Chaka Khan was. She was skinny. Now I know she was doing some stuff in those days too. She was having some drug issues at the time too. So, but she was still singing in great form. So this Street Player, not my favorite record at the time, but it grew on me and now it's become one of my faves. Then Quincy Jones got involved with them. This is when Chaka was really starting to really feel like, I'm kind of over this. I want to do my own thing. But she's continued to do some stuff with them. Another cover that I don't think it's that great. The covers were kind of cheesy. Nothing really artistic about this cover. It's kind of tacky. And there's Quincy Jones, young Quincy Jones there, producing. This had on here What Am I Missing, which is a great song that Chaka Khan wrote. Master Jam, Rod Temperton wrote that one. That was the title track. That's the name of this record. Master Jam, Rod Temperton wrote a lot of songs from Michael Jackson's hit records, right? So you're familiar. So this was right around the time that Thriller came out and all that stuff. They do Quincy Jones's Body Heat. And then they have a really big dance song from this called Do You Love What You Feel? And that was a huge, the 12-inch was like 8 minutes long or something like that. It was really good. Any Love is on here as well. That's a really big one. Dave Walensky wrote that one. This doesn't have the best songs. It's not their best album. It's a Quincy production, and it sounds like a Quincy Jones production. So it doesn't really sound like Rufus. It doesn't have that same funk feel. It's very, very produced. It's very, very clean. It's kind of dated. It has that 80s kind of sound to it. But still has some really good stuff on it. What Am I Missing is a great funk. I mean, the bass line in there is boom, 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 boom. It's like fat bass on there. It's really good. And Do You Love What You Feel is a great. It's very keyboard oriented dance music, and it's a floor filler. It's really good. Body Heat's very sexy. So, and we're coming towards the close. I think that's pretty much it with a full album with Chaka Khan, except for their live one. I got this one for $0.25 a long time ago at Sounds. This is 1979, and this I don't even think Shaka's on here at all. I think David Hawk Williamsky and Tony Maiden sing on these songs, and Helen Lowe, whoever Helen Lowe is, um, it's okay. It's not bad. It's just nothing special, and I think because Shaka's not there. Shaka's not. She's clearly not there. So they tried to continue without her, and it just doesn't really work. I mean, it's okay. So maybe this is the period where that unnamed person was really putting down Rufus. Maybe it was like Rufus sucks. But it's just that they were lost without Shaka Khan. That's what happened. Because these are all accomplished musicians. Here's another. This is a good cover of theirs. And this is Camouflage. She came back for another record and she sings on this, but you can tell she's not really into it. And this one's called Camouflage. And this is the last time you see a picture of her in the studio album with them. And there's some decent songs like Better Together is good, True Love, Quandary. The rest I don't remember. And it's again produced by Rufus themselves. They probably should have gotten somebody else involved to really flesh it out a little bit better. But I think Chaka was not really invested anymore, and you could tell. It was the beginning of the end, you know. Then, the last time you ever see Chaka Khan with Rufus is this famous Rufus featuring Chaka Khan live stomping at the Savoy. They were at the Savoy in New York City. And this is produced by Russ Titleman. It's a 2 CD set. I mean, two records, disc set, 2 vinyl record set. And it's a really good live album. But it also has one of the last big studio singles that they ever had as a group with Chaka Khan, which was Ain't Nobody. In fact, the last side 4, is all studio stuff, and it's Ain't Nobody, 1,000,000 Kisses, Try a Little Understanding, and Don't Go to Strangers, which is a jazz tune. But it's got all their hits on here. But Ain't Nobody was the reason why people bought this album, because that's the only way you can get it unless you got a single. Ain't Nobody was on the live album, but it's on the studio side of the live album. Okay. And I think that's the last stuff she ever did with them. I have one other Rufus album, and I think I have a couple more that I did not get. I tried to continue to get into Rufus. This is called Sealed in Red. And I think they were nailing themselves in with a coffin, because this record is just awful. It's just, again, their covers, the album cover is not that great. It's not bad, but it's not great. This was produced by George Duke, and I love George Duke, and I love Rufus featuring Chaka Khan. But Rufus without Chaka Khan combined with George Duke is this, and it's not that good. I mean, it's great musicians, it's great people involved, but it's just, and Ivan Neville singing on here as well, but it just doesn't pop at all. It's lost. And I think after that, I don't know what they did after that. Honestly, I don't think they did much more after that. I don't think a lot of the members started going on to other things. But consider this like a part 1 to the whole Rufus featuring Chaka Khan legacy. I'm going to do a whole Chaka Khan video later on, because I can tell you everything about every Chaka Khan record, including the ones I don't like, because there's a couple that I don't really care for. But I'm a completionist, and I absolutely adore Chaka Khan, because she's my queen. She's the queen of funk as far as I'm concerned, and just, she can do no wrong for me. Even when she does do wrong, she can't do no wrong. But anyway, the care and feeding of Rufus. I have to care and feed them, because anybody who disses Rufus is going to have to hear it from me. Rufus was a great funk rock band, and Chaka Khan made it what it is as far as I'm concerned. And they're definitely a strong entity in the music world. And that's all I'm going to say on that. I think I've said enough. I think we've gone over almost a half an hour. So that's enough. But But if you ever see any of these records, pick them up, especially the ones that say Rufus featuring Chaka Khan. And that first Rufus album is very good. No matter what people tell you, it's still good. But anything that says Rufus featuring Chaka Khan is a keeper. Absolutely. And don't let anybody tell you anything different. Or have them talk to me. Keep listening to good music. Take care.